Tasha K says witness intimidation charges are going to be coming against Cardi B real soon. So you got Tasha K speaking on Cardi B. Tasha ain't learned her lesson, right? Old Cardi 4 mil, but still be playing games.
Okay, listen. Cardi B might be walking straight into some serious legal smoke right now, and the situation around her and her NFL boo, Stefon Diggs, is getting messier by the minute. This story escalated fast, so here's a clear breakdown for anyone who hasn't been following closely. Stefon Diggs is now being sued by his former private chef, and the accusations are heavy. She claims that on December 2nd, while she was living and working inside his home, Diggs came into her bedroom and confronted her over money he allegedly owed her. What started as a money dispute reportedly turned into something much more serious. According to the police report, she says the argument escalated and Diggs allegedly struck her across the face. She also claims he placed her in a chokehold, using his elbow around her neck, making it hard for her to breathe and leaving her feeling like she could black out. She says the entire situation began over payment issues. She was allegedly supposed to be paid for the full season, but Diggs told her to leave the house for a week in November because he had guests staying over. And that's when everything went left. She still wanted to be paid for that week, and that's where everything really went sideways. What should have stayed a simple money dispute allegedly turned into a heated back and forth that spiraled fast. According to messages referenced in reports, Diggs allegedly tried to shut the conversation down, saying he was done arguing and that it was cool, but she didn't back off. She allegedly fired back, telling him he needed to pay her for the full season and the money he promised to help her business, saying he wasted her time being there while chaos was going on around him. She reportedly said she was done and out of his life, making it clear she felt played. Diggs allegedly responded aggressively, saying he wasn't paying her anything and questioning why he would pay her and another chef at the same time. He allegedly dismissed her business claims, said he didn't owe her anything, and told her to send whoever she wanted to his address to come get the money, keeping the tone reckless and confrontational. Now here's where Cardi B allegedly enters the picture. According to the police report, she reached out to the chef in an attempt to calm things down and allegedly discourage her from pressing charges. Reports also claim Cardi continued communicating with the chef afterward, which is now raising serious questions about whether that contact could be viewed as witness intimidation. Now let's be very clear here, because this part matters a lot. Stefon Diggs is now facing serious legal heat, including felony charges tied to strangulation or suffocation, along with misdemeanor assault and battery. That alone makes this situation heavy, and it also explains why Cardi staying in contact with the witness was not a smart move at all. Cardi then made things even messier by posting screenshots of her direct messages with the chef. From the outside looking in, it seems like Cardi believed she was clearing his name in the court of public opinion and maybe even helping legally. But the reality is she may have done the exact opposite by putting herself deeper in the story. In the messages Cardi shared, she wrote, "Not once has that woman said anything to me about being touched. Not once. Mind you, we was talking every single day until she left that house and she just wrote me this. But I'm gonna let the court handle it, and when it gets handled, I want all y'all talking stuff on your knees with apologies just as loud as the way y'all been harassing over a lie. And I put that on my 2-month-old son in the name of the Lord. That's how confident I am." The chef's response told a very different story. She replied, "I'm so sorry, I can't talk to you. I didn't say that, especially in the way it was written. Please contact my mediator and she will answer anything you need to know, but only in person and confidentially." And that response alone shifted the entire tone of this situation fast. And then the message was signed Lynette, which is where things really start looking shaky. This is why the situation is legally dangerous for Cardi, because witness intimidation is not a light accusation at all. When there's an active case and someone is being investigated or charged, you cannot reach out to a witness or alleged victim and try to influence what they say or how they move, even if you think you're just defending yourself or setting the record straight. Prosecutors don't care about intentions, they care about actions. From a legal angle, Cardi's messages could be seen as an attempt to influence a witness, and posting those conversations publicly only made it worse. That screenshot basically handed investigators a paper trail without them even having to dig for it. Now add this extra layer, because people online started connecting dots fast. There were rumors floating that Stefon Diggs and the chef may have had something personal going on. Folks zeroed in on that message where she said, "You got a whole circus going on, I'm out of your life." And a lot of people felt that didn't sound strictly professional at all. That tone had people reading between the lines. Because of that, Cardi started catching side eyes heavy. Let's be real, many people already believe Diggs has a history that lines up with cheating rumors, so the internet ran with it fast.
Tasha K says witness intimidation charges are gonna be coming against Cardi B real soon. So you got Tasha K speaking on Cardi B. Tasha ain't learned her lesson, right? Old Cardi 4 mil, but still be playing games, right? But you had Tasha K putting up this post saying, witness intimidation charges coming soon. You can't contact an alleged victim on behalf of someone being prosecuted, allegedly. Then Tasha K posted up the pic of this dude. It's the dude that says Stefon tried to, get with him and things like that, right? And she made the caption, that's just my baby daddy. Goddamn, Tasha ain't gonna learn, right? But Tasha is referring to the whole situation where Stefon Diggs allegedly choked out his live-in chef with the BBL. I don't know what's going on there. Some people saying, look, he got with her. Some people saying he done got her pregnant. But she's speaking on how Cardi B allegedly came up in a situation where they're saying Cardi B contacted the female chef telling her basically to not press charges. It ain't even that serious. I know he put his elbow in your neck and you couldn't breathe, girl. But it ain't even that serious. So this is what Tasha K is talking about. So Tasha K believes Cardi B is going to be charged with that. I'm not so sure about that, but we going to see.
Now, according to chatter from commentary channels, there's talk that Cardi B could allegedly be facing witness intimidation charges. The claim being pushed is simple. You cannot contact an alleged victim on behalf of someone being prosecuted, period. At this point, it's a waiting game. But if Cardi actually ends up facing criminal charges because of Stefon Diggs and his mess, this situation will officially go from messy to unbelievable fast. This whole situation puts Cardi B in a risky position legally, because once a case reaches felony level, everything becomes tightly controlled. Prosecutors don't need proof that someone explicitly told a witness to lie. All they need is evidence that contact could reasonably be seen as pressure or influence. That's the part a lot of fans miss. It doesn't matter if Cardi thought she was just explaining herself or calming things down. From a legal standpoint, intent is less important than impact, and those messages created a record that can now be interpreted in multiple ways. Once screenshots go public, there's no walking it back. What might have stayed a private misunderstanding now looks like interference to people trained to spot patterns like this every day. And the timing couldn't be worse. Stefon Diggs isn't dealing with minor accusations that fade away quietly. Felony strangulation or suffocation is serious territory, the kind of charge prosecutors take personally because it involves alleged physical danger. When that's on the table, every move around the case gets scrutinized. Cardi staying in contact with the chef during that window looks reckless. Even if her goal was loyalty, loyalty doesn't override legal boundaries. Courts don't see partners, emotions, or relationship dynamics. They see witnesses, defendants, and actions. Once Cardi posted those messages herself, she unintentionally turned speculation into potential evidence, which is something defense attorneys usually try hard to avoid, not broadcast. Then there's the rumor layer, which poured gasoline on everything. The internet immediately latched onto the tone of those earlier messages between Diggs and the chef. Lines like, "I'm out of your life," had people questioning whether this was more than just business gone bad. Whether that's true or not almost doesn't matter, because perception drives public reaction. And once people started framing the situation as personal instead of professional, Cardi caught even more heat. Folks weren't just questioning Diggs anymore, they were questioning her judgment, her awareness, and whether she ignored red flags because of who she was dealing with. That shift matters because public opinion often influences how aggressively cases get covered and discussed. What makes it even more complicated is how fast commentary channels ran with the idea of witness intimidation. Once that phrase enters the conversation, it sticks. Even if no charges come from it, the damage to reputation is already done. Prosecutors don't announce investigations until they're ready, but they absolutely watch public behavior in real time. Every post, every message, every response becomes part of a timeline. That's why legal teams usually tell clients to go silent. Cardi doing the opposite gave critics ammo and gave authorities something concrete to analyze. Silence protects. Screenshots expose. At the end of the day, this isn't about gossip anymore. It's about how close proximity to someone else's legal mess can pull you into it. Cardi may not be charged with anything, but even being mentioned in that context is dangerous for someone at her level. The lesson here is simple, but harsh. When courts are involved, emotions have to take a back seat. Defending your partner publicly can feel right in the moment, but legally, it can cost you later. Now, everyone is watching to see if this stops at online chatter or turns into something formal. Either way, this situation already crossed a line from messy relationship drama into real legal consequences, and there's no pretending otherwise now. This situation keeps showing how fast loyalty can turn into liability when courts get involved. Cardi B may have thought she was protecting her relationship, but legally, emotions don't get a seat at the table. Once felony-level accusations enter the picture, every action around the case gets magnified. Prosecutors don't look at intent the same way fans do. They don't ask why someone reached out, they ask whether that contact could influence a witness in any way. And when those messages are shared publicly, it strips away any benefit of the doubt. What feels like transparency online can look like pressure or interference in a courtroom, and that's the danger zone. Another problem here is timing, and timing matters a lot. If those messages had happened before police reports, lawyers, and charges, the conversation would be different. But once an investigation is active, the rules change instantly. Communication that might have been harmless a week earlier suddenly becomes questionable. Cardi staying in touch after allegations were already circulating makes the situation look careless, even if that wasn't her intention. Legal systems don't operate on vibes or relationship context. They operate on timelines, screenshots, and documented contact. That's why lawyers usually advise complete silence, especially when emotions are running high. Then there's the court of public opinion, which never waits for facts to settle. As soon as those screenshots dropped, people began building narratives around them. Some saw Cardi as standing 10 toes down for her man. Others felt she crossed a line she shouldn't have. That split reaction only made the story louder. Once social media locks onto a legal angle like witness intimidation, it becomes sticky. Even if nothing comes of it, the label follows the story everywhere. And for someone with Cardi's level of fame, perception alone can do serious damage. The rumors about Stefon Diggs and the chef didn't help either, because they changed how people interpreted everything. Whether true or not, those rumors shifted the focus from a contract dispute to something more personal in the public's mind. That put Cardi in an even more awkward position. Instead of being seen as a neutral partner trying to calm things down, some people started framing her actions as reactive or defensive. And once that framing takes hold, every move afterward gets read through that lens. Fair or not, that's how public narratives work. What's wild is how preventable this might have been. If Cardi had stayed completely hands-off and let lawyers handle communication, her name likely wouldn't even be part of this conversation. But once you step into a legal storm that doesn't belong to you, you risk getting pulled under with it. Posting messages, responding emotionally, and trying to control the narrative often backfires. Legal battles aren't won on timelines or comment sections. They're won quietly, behind closed doors, with strategy and restraint. Now, it's a waiting game, and that's the hardest part.
So yesterday, Cardi B decides to go on Twitter and post some screenshots of her and the alleged victim having conversations back and forth. Again, kind of piggyback a little bit off my last video that I posted. Cardi B, we just want to see you win, right? We like you, we like her personality, but ma'am, this is not it. It just went from bad to worse. Ma'am, you know how bad this is, right? Because from the outside looking, because I'm going to be very, very transparent about it. This looks really bad for the simple fact that from what he's being alleged, this is like federal charges. You taking personal conversations from you and the alleged victim and then posting it on social media, it definitely gives intimidation. It definitely gives witness tampering. Are you okay? Even like relationship with Stefon, whatever, even if you decide to stay with him, you kind of low-key is making the situation for him worse. I just don't know, and then we can't play like the game of Cardi B being young because she's not young. She's an adult. She's in her 30s. She has 4 children. She should not be on the internet posting alleged messages from her and the victim regarding her alleged boyfriend. Well, regarding her boyfriend allegedly putting his hands on her. It's a mess. Cardi B, best bet was to stay out of that whole situation. See my instant in the background? Was to stay out of the situation. They had nothing to do with you. They had nothing to do with you. They said girlfriend. She said, she didn't even say it. It was a court paper that her lawyer submitted. Alleged girlfriend, whatever. His partner reached out to her. They never said Cardi B. They never said your name at all. Somebody, even in the comments in Twitter, even made a good point. What if it wasn't the girlfriend that she was talking about? So again, we just came back from that situation from Christmas when people was looking like, Cardi, you got like 5 kids. Y'all, all y'all kids born around the same time. What is happening? Hood, triplets, quadruplets, all born the same year, months apart. That shit is crazy. People let it go, right? I personally think, you definitely are trying to move on from Offset, but I think you're doing it the wrong way.
People want instant outcomes, but real cases move slow. Authorities will decide whether this stays online chatter or turns into something formal. Until then, everything Cardi does will be watched closely. One wrong move can shift the entire situation. This is no longer celebrity drama for clicks. It's a reminder that fame doesn't protect you from consequences, and sometimes the smartest move is saying nothing at all while the dust settles. At this point, the biggest takeaway is how quickly a situation can snowball when fame, emotions, and legal issues collide. What started as a dispute that should have stayed between lawyers and contracts turned into a public spectacle with real consequences attached. Once screenshots hit the timeline and names started trending, the narrative stopped being controllable. That's the danger zone for anyone connected to a case like this. You don't get to rewind public perception once it's formed, and you definitely don't get to explain your way out once legal lines may have been crossed. What also stands out is how unforgiving the system can be. Courts don't care about loyalty, relationship status, or intentions. They care about evidence, timelines, and whether actions could influence a case. Even if no additional charges ever come from this, the stress, scrutiny, and damage control alone are enough to shake anyone. Being adjacent to a felony case is serious business, especially when every move is watched, clipped, reposted, and dissected by millions. Then there's the reality of how social media fuels these situations. Once commentary channels and online detectives latch onto a story, it takes on a life of its own. Speculation becomes fact to some people. Rumors turn into headlines, and nuance gets lost in the noise. That's why staying quiet is often the smartest play, even when you feel misunderstood. Silence isn't guilt, but in high-stakes moments, it can be protection. Another thing people keep overlooking is how this affects everyone involved long-term. Legal battles don't just end when the headlines fade. They drag on behind the scenes, draining time, money, and peace. Careers, endorsements, and public trust can all take hits, even without a conviction. That's why experienced legal teams push for restraint. Once something is said or shared publicly, it can be used, twisted, or misunderstood in ways you can't control. Right now, all eyes are on what happens next. Will this stay in the realm of online debate, or will authorities decide there's more to look into? That decision won't be made based on comments or fan opinions. It'll be made quietly, behind closed doors, by people whose job is to look at facts, not feelings. Until then, every post, every response, and every move matters more than ever. No matter where you stand on this, one thing is clear. This is bigger than celebrity gossip. It's a real-world example of how fast things can go left when personal loyalty clashes with legal reality. And it's a reminder that sometimes the smartest response isn't saying more, but stepping back and letting professionals handle it. So, before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you're riding with us, tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single messy update. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next video.